everything I just said was wrong.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really know. I don't know what I'm doing. Who am I kidding? I don't know, man. But I don't know if that's actually gonna work properly. Oh wait, this isn't gonna work. This isn't, oh, frick. It's not gonna, I don't know. That was a stupid joke. Ooh, I don't think that'll work. I don't know what to do next. Theoretically, this is gonna work very well. All right, the goal for today and this weekend is I'm gonna install these Toyota Tacoma front struts. Idea is to put it in here. I mean, honestly, these struts are the reason I did most of this suspension work. There's a couple other reasons, but this is the biggest reason. These torsion rods are known to snap when it's a pickup truck, and we have a lot more weight than just a pickup truck. So I don't want to risk that. I don't want to deal with that. So this is roughly where it's going. I got to make sure that I can cycle the suspension up and down, and I got to make sure that the CV axle is not going to rub on it ever. And then I also have to make sure how to go from frame to top of strut and make it like really strong. But this is about where it's going to go. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'll figure it out. First things first, I'm going to build this lower mount before I deal with the top. Currently this is at full drop, and I'm gambling that full drop on this torsion rod is going to be a similar full drop to the coil spring. The Toyota Tacoma that this comes from and this truck weigh similar, so I'm really hoping that the ride height up front after this is bolted in will be similar to the ride height in the rear, but it's a gamble. First things first is I'm gonna try to figure out where this bottom part goes. This is the old stop for the knuckle, so the knuckle won't turn all the way. So I don't need this anymore. If I do need it, I should just put it up forward. I don't know, I'm gonna cut it off right now. I got that cut off, thinking I'm gonna put the mount right about there. Once I figure out top fitment and how it will cycle, then I'll beef this up a lot more. But I'm just trying to figure out, like, where the heck do I put this thing? And is this actually gonna work out like I had in my head? Just barely tacked in there, but I think that's probably right about where it's gonna go. I'm a little worried that it might be too much at an angle. I think that's about where it's gonna go. Looks pretty good to me. So this is the side profile. I think it's good. I don't know, man. This is tough. All right, well, I'm just gonna start with that. All right, right now I'm gonna install the axle. I just wanna make sure that when I actually build the mounts for the strut, that the strut won't hit the axle. Alright, now that the CV is in, now I can figure this out. Definitely does not hit at full drop. Now my next task is trying to mount this up here so I can compress it. I don't need it super strong, so my idea is get this roughly mounted how I want it. Just kind of tacked into place. And then I remove the spring off of this strut, so this one I can actually like cycle just to make sure everything moves correctly. Okay, so I cut this out. This fits the top hat on the strut. So what I'm thinking, this is the top. Obviously, like I'll trim it down to make it pretty, but I just cut it out of scrap, so I want to leave as much excess as there is. I am gonna find something that will go from where the old upper control arm bolts are, down here, all the way up, and weld it to this mount. And then I'll support it properly and make sure it's nice and strong. But like I said earlier, I just want to get something tacked up here so I could put the springless strut in, just the shock by itself, and cycle everything and make sure it all fits properly. I'm going to be using this super beefy, and I think this will fit perfectly right back there. I know it's going to be strong enough if I can support it properly. But I'll just have to cut a piece and make it fit back here, tack it up. Theoretically, this is going to work very well. Got this thing cut. This thing goes right around here. It's going to be tough to get all the angles, but I'll get it figured out. So I went ahead and took the spring off of the strut and installed just the shock itself. And this thing cycles up and down. Obviously it's not pretty, but it's barely tacked on. Once I fully weld it, I'll make it look nice. But the next project is this lower mounting bolt. Right now it's just jammed in a hole. So I need to weld a nut on this back side where the control arm is, so this actually threads in. Earlier I had a bolt sticking out this way, but it would be really difficult to get the shock off and actually replace this when I need to upgrade. So I drilled a hole here and I reamed it out so this nut will fit in there. Nothing's welded yet, it's just sitting. But I want to make sure this fits. Look at that. Bingo, dingo. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and weld the inside, and then I'll undo the bolt and tack the outside just to make sure it doesn't move. Okay, next step is I'm going to make 1/4-inch plates that sit right here and will actually be welded to the frame. I don't want to fully weld this in place quite yet, because I will have to remove it to make it look nice. I made some cardboard templates. Fits in there pretty good. There we go. And I got one for the backside too. Fits on the backside. I know you can't see that, but it exists. I'm gonna cut those out of metal with the plasma cutter and go from there. Got this guy cut out. Fits pretty nicely right there. I'm just gonna tack them on. Then I got this one for the back side. Oh boy. Take it off now and weld the back side. Okay, so I welded this on so these sides can't bend in or out. Alright, so this is what I got so far. As you can see, I rounded this off nicer. It was really ugly. Next thing I want to do is add this like fascia. So when the spring's in there like that, this will kind of round it off, make it look a little nicer. That's the plan. How much better this looks. looks than it did. So much better. Now I'm gonna cut this excess off the top, and then I'll weld it all on permanently. And then it's pretty much time for paint and install it on the actual frame. I just cut this and I forgot to press record, so that's the ugly cut. Now I just have to clean it up and make it look pretty. This is all done. Looks nice, I think. I think it's finally time to install the strut mount. I cleaned up all the little bit of surface rust on this. Next up, I'm gonna install this. First, I'm gonna do the bottom bolt for this and make sure it's like all kind of aligned where I need it. But then I'm gonna tack it into place, and then it's never coming off again. All right. Okay. Now that it's tacked in, I reinstalled the upper control arm. Everything's reasonably tight. I want to check ride height. Driver's side still has a torsion rod connected and tightened how it was. And this side has a coil. So I'm gonna put both tires on. I'm gonna take the jack out, and hopefully this will be at least reasonably level from left to right. And if it is, then the ride height will be good enough for me, and I'll finish welding this in all the way. All right, let's see what this looks like. Oh. Okay, so it's a little taller. It's probably like an inch taller, but I mean, it really doesn't look bad. It looks really dope, actually. I'll just have to level it out for the rear, which I kind of was already planning on doing. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it it's good enough for me, and I'm just gonna freaking send it and weld everything in. Now that we know pretty much everything's gonna work out, I'm gonna figure out what's going on with this. How do I beef this up? I'm gonna use this. Yeah, it's gonna go like this, and then over, and then bend. I'll go one bend at a time, try to figure this out. All right, so I'm just gonna spitball this. Okay, I just test fitted it. This is almost perfect. This needs to be more bent. Ow! Ow! All right, well, that didn't work. Those welds were not hot enough. We'll weld that back on in a minute. So that curve is just about perfect. I'm gonna weld this back on at the right angle. Dang it. So that's close enough. I have to drill a hole right about there. Ow! Let's see if this thing fits. All right. That looks pretty good to me. I gotta take it back off and clean all the spots that I'm about to weld. I'm gonna burn this in. I'm gonna burn this in. And I guess I'm gonna paint it. No, yeah, no.
No, yes, no, yes, no. All right, I've made my decision.
burn it in and paint it. That's what I'm gonna do today. Then it's time to go home. Okay, so excuse my solo stash. It was just Halloween the other day. And I was only halfway done with this project. But I think I'm ready to do the final install. I'll still have to align it, but I'm running out of time for this weekend. I just finished up the other side. So yeah, I'm gonna install these guys and put everything back together. Little ball joint extender. Got it all put back together, mostly painted up. I gotta weld this brake bracket back on. Look at that. Ooh la la. We've actually test drove this a couple hundred miles and all the suspension works. So that's great. Last thing is it's still 2-wheel drive. I have the axles in, but the C-clips aren't in, so axles aren't connected. And the drive line from the transfer case is not connected to the front disc. So it's been 2-wheel drive. We've been driving it, and steering feels great. It feels so much more smooth than it was. But now it's time to make it 4-wheel drive. And tomorrow we're planning to take it up to the snow to, test out the 4-wheel drive and the new suspension. So here we go.